It's no secret that we love t-shirts at Bothering the Band. We love band t-shirts. We even have a t-shirt Tuesday post we do every Tuesday. And we get our t-shirts exclusively from Make a Tee Online. That's Make a Tee Online. Stalk them on social and all the shit. Tell them you heard about them through Bothering the Band. Use coupon code BOTHERME for 10% off. Please go support Make a Tee because they support us. Oh my God, can you believe it? Rich Wilkes is on this episode of Bothering the Band. He is the writer of the movie Airheads. He is the writer-director of the movie Glory Days. And he has let me bother him outside of this podcast for a very long time. He's a music geek like us. And this conversation is very long, very special, and we had a lot of fun.
There we go.
Rich.
Hello, Martha Sunshine.
Howdy.
Hey, Ryan. What's up, man?
Hey, man. It's so good to see you. Thank you for doing this. Welcome to Bothering the Band. Welcome. This is Abby, the producer of this fine program. Without her,
I'm sorry. You're not Martha.
That's my alter ego.
It's your nom de guerre. Got it. So we're not started yet, right? We're just bullshitting.
We'll see.
I just have to shut down all the porn on my computer.
Do your thing. Is that a Ralph Steadman behind you? What is
it?
It
is. That's a Ralph Steadman. That is a limited edition silkscreen 11, number 11 out of 77.
Wow, it's very cool.
Freaking huge. I mean, it's very big and exciting. It's the Lizard Lounge from from Fear and Loathing.
Very cool.
So
I approve.
All right.
Yeah. So welcome to Bothering the Band. Just to give listeners a background, I've been bothering Rich for a year, give or take. And he's gracious enough to do our silly podcast. Get ready because we don't ask normal questions. And yeah, we're ready if you're ready. Did you close out all your porn?
I did. Most of it. Let me clear the search history. Hold on.
Clear cache.
All good.
What are the crutches for in the back? Did you hurt yourself?
No, I'm going to have knee surgery next week.
When? Oh, no.
Yeah. I had to delay it. It was going to be President's Day, but I pushed it back a week. So I guess it's 2 weeks from now.
Is it something you did or just normal
old
wear and
man
tear?
Meniscus? Yeah, old man meniscus tear.
Oh man, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, this is my second meniscus.
Oh, do you have any metal in there?
Nope.
No metal.
No, it's pretty easy surgery. I've had both rotator cuffs and twice on my back. So this will make it an even 5. So you got a lot to look forward to. I said, why am I injured? And they said, well, it's probably something you did in high school. Oh. All right. Awesome. Did not know that.
You're a tall drink of water, though, right? How tall are you?
6'5".
Wow.
See, the guys from Jackass are going to be in wheelchairs by the time they're 60.
Have you seen the new Jackass?
No, my son saw it. I haven't got a chance.
Yeah, I saw it on Saturday. It was very good. And coincidentally, I spoke to Lance Bangs like 3 days before that. So it was funny to see him throwing up in the film.
Who is he? I don't know. Lance.
He's one of the he's like a second unit director, but he's done a lot of music videos and shit too. So like Kanye, Sonic Youth, a bunch of stuff, and he happens to be in that crew.
Okay.
And his musical connection is why we reached out to him. And yeah, it's just timing work that I saw him on the big screen on Saturday.
What, does he get jumped during production or something? One of those things?
No,
where they blow him up?
But he gets grossed out. I mean, guarantee you've seen him if you've seen any other movies. He's always like throwing up. He's always backtracking.
Oh yeah, with the camera. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's a skill. Where are you both located?
Abigail.
I'm in Wyoming.
Holy cow. And you?
I'm in South Florida currently.
Good Lord. Okay. So it's 8:00 for you. All right. I've heard of Wyoming. Wait, is Wyoming the one that has Yellowstone?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going there in June. I'm going to Yellowstone.
Well, there you go. That's why I live here.
It'll be on my radar. I won't screw it up anymore.
You should stay at her hotel.
Ooh, what do you got?
A very nice hotel.
Are you in the attic of the hotel right now?
I live in an A-frame cabin because I live in Wyoming and it's only appropriate. But
Yeah,
I run a hotel in Jackson Hole.
Ooh, fancy. Yeah, we're not going to Jackson Hole. We're going to like a dude ranch type deal somewhere.
Those are fun. It's
Everyone comments
experience.
on your A-frame. Everyone.
Yeah.
She always gets attention for that. All right. What was the last concert you went to, Rich?
I'll look at my concert list. I've kept a list of every single concert I've ever been to since I ever went to a concert.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. The dates, the location, who the opening bands were.
Oh my God.
It's like my thing. I got a whole folder of it. Look at all these pages of shows going back to 1983, 1982. The Who, Loverboy, and John Cougar. That was the first one. Last one. Oh shit.
What was the date? What's the date on the Who, Loverboy, and John Cougar?
Oh, that one I didn't write the date, but it was 1982. Looks like the last one I went to was The Who and Liam Gallagher at the Hollywood Bowl, but that was 2019. I know I've been to something since then. I've been lazy. All right.
Okay.
I'm sure it was something. It was like Red Cross at the Troubadour. I think it was Red Cross and the Melvins or Mr. T Experience.
Oh,
something
nice.
along those lines. Yeah.
Good call. Love the Melvins.
Am I the only one that's? Is it happy hour only here in Santa Monica?
Wyoming as well.
This is so big.
It's better when you
Yeah.
It's a bucket.
What are you drinking?
Straight gin.
Nice. Wow, gin.
It's very Kiss of me. Cold gin.
All right. When's the last time you looked at your Wikipedia page?
Oh, I actually edited it a couple of months ago.
Well, then you might have edited. I don't know when, but it had. Did you take out anything?
I don't recall. So why? What happened? What's missing?
Because it had a little bit. My beef is you're very cool, and it needs to have a little bit more style to it.
Yeah, I didn't write it, but there was some stuff I corrected, like I don't know, my birthplace or something stupid like that. But yes, I should have a cooler one.
Jersey. It says Jersey is your birth.
Yeah, I'm from Princeton.
Wow. And when did you move to California?
77, just in time for Star Wars to be released.
Have you watched Book of Boba Fett?
No, not interested in that one. I hear it sucks.
Oh, it's pretty good. I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Can I update you on the bands I've seen thing?
Of course. This is what we're all about. It's a music podcast.
All right. Last one actually was a comedy show, John Mulaney at the Troubadour. And then, the one before that was The Who with Liam Gallagher. Wow. Yeah, I haven't been to a lot lately.
So you count comedy shows in the concert list?
Correct. I saw Rodney Dangerfield. I think he was the first one I saw in the mid 80s, and Jim Carrey opened for him in like 84, 85.
Where was that?
Golden Hall in San Diego. My wife will kill me because I could tell you Golden Hall and who opened, but I can't remember shit about my own family.
Do you know the comedian Mark Norman by any chance?
No.
He's
Sounds
a New York.
familiar, but
He's a New York guy, and he has a great bit about his friend got divorced because the wife said, "Oh, you know nothing about me," but the guy can literally tell you about 400 watches and the dial and everything. I'm butchering it. Don't hate me, Mark. But it's a good bit. Check out Mark Norman, everyone.
So
It's funny.
I saw that. I mean, do you perform still?
I would never call myself a comic. I'm a writer. I love writing comedy. I think it makes me better in every facet. And every now and again, I get the itch to do it because it's fun. But if something works, I either give it away to someone who's actual comedian.
All right. Quick random question for you. Who is the most overhyped famous poet that you can name?
Oh,
I'm including lyricists.
Okay. That's tough. I would say any of the Instagram poets.
I didn't know that exists. That's a thing.
Oh yeah. And I don't want to name any names, but there are some with massive followings and very generalized style.
Wow. All right. Like a haiku generator?
Like a love is love type of shit. And that people love it. People eat it up. I get it.
Life affirming. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your stuff is kind of sad, and I'm walking down the Bowery at 4 a.m. eating stale bagels. And that's the stuff that talks to me.
Oh man.
I butchered it, but that's the gist.
No, you did not. Nail on the head.
That's better than the actual poems themselves.
So what about Jim Morrison? Do you think he's overrated as a poet, or
I don't. And the Jim Morrison book of poems I got in Jackson Hole, and I think it's weird and out there, and I love it and makes no sense. I dig it, but that's just me.
I love it too. He did an album. Remember in the movie, Val Kilmer, after the Doors break up, he's sort of doing rambling poetry, just recording in the studio. Well, they took that and they put music underneath it, and they released this posthumous album in the 80s, which is really, really cool. I'm going to look it up for you so you don't have to scramble for it. I think it's called Jim Morrison. It's something about Jim Morrison. Come on, Jim. Here we go. It's called An American Prayer. And it's all of, I forgot who did the music. It could even be, it is the Doors. So the Doors got back together to do instrumental stuff underneath his poetry. It's pretty bad.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Abby's writing it down. Love it. That's her heart.
Have him on the next one.
Yeah. Oh, man. So you mentioned comedy. See? When's the last time you went up?
A month ago.
Where?
There's this place in LA now, just like if you want to play music on the Sunset Strip, it's pay to play. So they have these places. It's sort of like an open mic, but you pay $5 and you get 5 minutes. And I never heard of this before, but I went to this place and they're open from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. I'm like, who the hell is paying $5 to do stand-up comedy in a tiny, it's called, I forgot what it's called, but there's a dozen chairs and then this little stage. And then there's a guy in the back with a boombox who plays, a little bit of entrance music and hypes you up. And you go up there and do your 5 minutes. And it was really, really ridiculous. I went at prime time, so there was at least 5-6 people there.
Okay.
That was terrible. It seems like most of the open mics have died out. So there's one left in LA that I go to, which is here in Santa Monica. That's awesome. But now it's getting so crowded again that I didn't get picked last time. They do a little lottery thing.
Okay.
So pre-pandemic, it was so bad that I get picked like once every 6 weeks. After pandemic, I could get up every week, but now it's grown again. So
they don't have. That's surprising. I've heard of the pay to play shows. I've never in New York. There's a few back in this is a long time ago, but I've never done them, and I never have known that other than just generating a few dollars for the venue. I've never known them to be a success.
Well, this one in particular is a chain. There's like 3 or 4 of them around LA. And this one was up in North Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a strip mall. There's a 7-Eleven, there's a cell phone place, and then there's a storefront where the glass is just painted black. And there's a little tiny sign. We wandered around forever trying to find it. You go inside, there's no bar, there's nothing. It's just an empty storefront painted black. And the bathroom door is on the stage. So while you're doing your bit, people are coming in and out. Well, if there's anybody in the place, they're going in there to take a shit right behind the stage. It's a really bizarre and desperate setup. But I saw one of the funniest guys I'd ever seen there. Obviously, a professional guy who was working out some new stuff. Maybe he lived around the corner. I don't know, but he was awesome. Just sort of, sat on the stool and just sort of talked to us like we were around a campfire or at a party or something, just telling these fucking great stories.
Do you know who it was?
Nope.
Oh, okay. We got to find that out.
Yeah, he was good.
So I am a huge comedy geek. So is Abby. Who's the last comic you saw? Like
John Mulaney.
That's right.
Before that, it would have probably been. We went to see Patton Oswalt
cool.
right before Christmas. All of the big name people like Mulaney and Patton Oswalt and Bill Burr and whatever, they were workshopping their stuff here at Largo at the Coronet
mm-hmm.
and various places where Mulaney did a week at the Troubadour. And they were just like, well, we're going to have to go back out on tour. Let's start working on the new shit. So Patton Oswalt was there every week. And I forgot the name of the other guys. Nick Kroll,
mm-hmm.
Guys like that. And they would have their friends opening and whatnot. So it's been a pretty good little time for comedy.
Oh, yeah. We actually were about to do our live show at Largo, but they're limiting performances. And of course, we're not as big as those guys, but shout out to them because they were very nice to our little show and very polite and entertained the idea of actually having us. So that was very cool. Well,
I'm going to throw this out there, but I know a place where you can perform between 2 and 10 any day of the week. And they'd love to have you.
Maybe we'll do that. You said it's $5?
$5, 5 minutes.
I love it.
And if you want something to drink, go to the 7-Eleven next door and you can drink it in there. All right. Next question for you guys. Abby, you participate in these quiz questions?
On occasion, yes.
Okay. Can you name a song lyric that was so meaningful that it's changed your life in some way?
Yes, I can. If you've never stared off into the distance, then your life is a shame, which is from a Counting Crows song.
Wow.
And it was a big influence of me moving to Wyoming.
Wow. So you're what's that guy's name? The guy who he banged everybody, Jennifer Aniston and everybody else?
Adam Duritz.
Yes, that guy. You're a Duritz guy. Wow. That's a great lyric. I don't recall that one.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite. So yeah.
Ryan, can you name one that's not from Katrina and the Waves?
I love it when the guests put us on the spot. My instinct is like, I don't know why. I've been listening to this song a lot in the last year, but the Jackson Browne These Days, please don't confront me with my failures, for I have not forgotten them.
Ooh. Oh, that's fucking good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Go ahead.
Did you see the Nightmare Alley movie? Bradley Cooper?
You have great timing, man. Fuck. I'll let her talk about this.
Well, did you see it?
No, we haven't seen it yet. We have a standing movie date every weekend where we just watch movies from our various locations.
Like Punk Like Me?
Yeah. Punk Like Me was one of our movie nights.
Airheads was one of them as well.
You're naming some of the greatest movies of the 20th and 21st centuries. That's awesome.
So yeah, we
Glory Days as well.
Nightmare Alley last week and did not.
Well, yeah, it's on like HBO now or Hulu or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a line at the end that's very much like that. Not at the end, but one of the characters says, I know what the fuck I did. You don't have to keep telling me what I did. I remember what I did. I want to know da 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 da. And it reminded me of that song lyric, because it's like, of course you remember the shitty fucking things that haunt you for the rest of your life. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I tend to think about them right when I'm about to go to bed. I do a little list.
I was at a class reunion, my last high school reunion, and I'm standing looking at the dance floor, and I hear this voice behind me. This kid goes, I don't know why I come to these things. I hate everybody here. And I went, fuck, I'm not coming again. This guy's going to show up with an AK-47 next time.
Yeah, that's where my mind went, and that's terrifying.
Yeah. No, but he's a sweet guy. He must have just had a little. So I, of course, am prepared with my lyric. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I asked, because it's a Pink Floyd song on Dark Side of the Moon called Time. Do you know Time?
Of course.
Good Lord. I mean, you are young and life is long and there is time to kill today. And then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. That and the rest of the lyrics of this song were like so haunting to me that it was like, I can't fucking dick around. I have to get shit done. And there's a bit of dialogue in Airheads where Joe Mantegna is asking Brendan Fraser about this
the Grim Reaper
tattoo about the Grim Reaper, and he says, I just want to remind myself that death is stalking me and I got to get off my ass and do something. And that's from this is the part that's just, it's fucking, the sun is the same as you in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time. I mean, it's just so fucking haunting, and like, God damn, you're going to be having so many regrets if you don't do something. And that's what I feel about, trying everything from punk rock singing to skateboarding to, I have my amateur lyrics and shitty stand-up comedy and all that kind of shit. It's just, I want to try all of it just to see, before I kick the bucket, go, yeah, I was a shitty comedian, but at least I tried it, rather than like, God, I could have been fucking Dave Attell or something,
I love it. I have the chills right now because I speaking for the podcast, we're the same way. I mean, me personally in my life, like just same with, that's why I do comedy. I'm like, I just tried it. I like it. It's fun. Same with our live show. We had this idea end of last year, and it was one of those things like, oh, we'll get to it. And then we woke up one day and we just started sending emails and asking, and it worked. So we're like, fuck it. I guess we're going to LA to do a live show. Yeah. And then we continue that. We're doing one in New York in July. And,
oh shit. That's great.
Yeah. And then maybe a couple more. We'll see. I don't want to jump ahead, but identify with what you're saying, and great song choice.
Oh, thank you. It's I got to get my kids to listen to Dark Side of the Moon, but it's sort of a hard one to introduce. You have to be sort of either into a stoner drug scene or just massively depressed as a teenager. And my kids are so well-rounded that they aren't sucked into the mind fuck of Pink Floyd.
Are they into music though? Because I feel like if you're into music, Pink Floyd is just...
They both love music, but my son has eclectic taste. He'll listen to Russian folk music from the 1930s to French pop from the 60s up till Australian rap. He's all over the place. And my daughter, there's this whole group of guys. There's an artist called Rex Orange County.
I know that.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of guys that are in that vein, and she digs him and is going to see him, and he's amazing. I find it rewarding when I can stick something in their head. And now my daughter's in college and she's like, what the fuck? You mean you haven't seen Inglourious Bastards? What's wrong with you?
Oh, I love it.
So I have her advocating for, The Godfather. You haven't seen it? So I like that part.
So we do this two things. One, Abby, I told you, isn't he great? I told you. And two, we do a thing on here where we ask certain guests if they've heard of a famous person. In our world, this person is famous. It started with Bridget Fonda. We're like, do you know who Bridget Fonda is? It was a resounding, I would say most of them said no idea who that was. We switched it recently to French Stewart. We're like, do you know who French Stewart is? And there, I mean, mind you, there was a big age gap between us and some of the people artists we're interviewing.
Yeah.
And I think French Stewart might be even further than Bridget Fonda, because Fonda, the name stands out, but it's very, I guess what I'm saying is good for your kids for knowing things beyond their generation.
Did you see the paparazzi scandal with Bridget Fonda last week? Yeah.
Part of the reason we went with French Stewart.
We switched.
Get off
felt
her
bad.
back. Get off that woman's back. Leave her alone.
We felt bad. We didn't know what she was going through. It wasn't anything making fun of. We're big fans.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, I don't think most people know Limp Bizkit besides as a punchline in a Deadpool movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I've met Fred Durst and hung out with them. He's a super sweet guy. He's a filmmaker. He's directed some movies. He was going to direct a movie that I was writing. And I did not know this, but they had just put out a new album, I think at the end of last year, called Limp Bizkit Still Sucks. And he's very self-aware of their status, but it's only a matter of time before new metal makes this fucking comeback. Just like, you know, I forgot what's back now. That's just like shockingly back.
Boy bands, like
the 90s,
like New Kids on the Block. So they're selling out arenas and shit.
They're rediscovering the old shit, and it's going to come back, and it'll be nice and rewarding. So I love it that people are still doing stuff. And he'd gone, this is before COVID, but he'd gone on tour. You know how when you're popular, you start in Western Europe and then you work your way through the Eastern Bloc countries. You know what I mean? The only place Michael Jackson could headline was in Romania by the end. Remember all of that? Mm-hmm. So they've gone all the way. So Limp Bizkit was touring Siberia, and there's enough of a population in Siberia that they were there for a month playing festivals and shit up and down Siberia. Who fucking knew? They're like, this is the greatest thing ever. They're paying. I mean, if you're in Siberia and you get Limp Bizkit to show up, that's a fucking catch, right? I mean, who else is going to go there?
I would go if I was in Siberia and you were like, let's go to this show.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, why not?
I've seen them live. I've seen Limp Bizkit live with System of a Down and Redman and Method Man.
Wow, that's a combo.
Orlando, Florida.
Oh yeah. They're what? They're not Jacksonville. Is that where they are? Gainesville.
I think he's from Jacksonville.
No, he's from like North or South Carolina, but he moved to Florida.
Oh, he moves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some panhandle place.
Jim Morrison's from Florida.
Did you know? All right, here's something, because I did a lot of research on Morrison. This one's a rando. Jim Morrison's dad was an admiral in the Navy, right? Morrison in the Doors didn't do a lot of protest music. They had one song called Unknown Soldier. His father, the admiral, turns out to have been the admiral in charge of the fleet at the Gulf of Tonkin. The Gulf of Tonkin was the incident that started the Vietnam War. And it's very controversial because the US claims that these Vietnamese gunboats came at them and we blew them up, and that was an act of aggression, so we have to go to war against Vietnam. But that was all bullshit. They didn't do that. That was our excuse to attack. And therefore, Jim Morrison's father started the Vietnam War. Rest my case.
And that's our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, well, this is a perfect segue to that.
I doubt it.
Nugget.
I totally doubt it. I've seen how this works so far.
When's the last time you spoke to Ben Affleck?
Oh, okay. I know that one. That one.
I love Affleck though. This isn't a joke.
He was just about to start Batman, and I ran into him at this place called the Brentwood Country Mart. It's like, got little outdoor food stands or whatever in Brentwood. And it was him and his daughter, and she was little and my son was little. So we all met. And then he said to his daughter, it was ridiculous because she was like 8 or 10 years old. He bends down and he says, "Remember, sweetie, I told you about the movie with a mohawk and the guy who gave me my start in the movie business? This is him." And she's like, obviously, that's not a story that you tell to your 8-year-old about this rando who started your career 25 years ago, because I hadn't seen him for 20 years before that. It's not like, he calls me up on the set of Argo going, "Dude, what the hell? I'm stuck. What do you think I should do?" But that was the last time I saw him. The time before that was when he was still dating Gwyneth Paltrow, like late 90s. In fact, it was at a party where Matt Damon was dating the girl from My So-Called Life, Claire
Danes. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. That's very sweet though. It was a sweet moment.
Yeah. No, it was great. And then my kid gets to meet Batman, and he was very nice. Still hasn't called, but he's very nice.
He's a big listener. He'll call you for rewrites now, and it is.
We'll see.
What'd you eat for breakfast today?
Today?
Yeah.
It was oatmeal. Boring. Yeah.
And what's your favorite cereal?
Personally, it's Apple Jacks.
Okay.
I haven't had
Good
Apple Jacks
answer.
in decades, but that's like the best cereal I can think of. Anything else is like good for you, and it's like, all right, I'll have it. But yeah, Apple Jacks would be the call. Did you know, making a quick segue.
Love it. Make as many as you want.
Yeah. Speaking of cereal, I forgot which brand it is, General Mills or whatever. But this was back in the late 90s when Hasbro was selling their thing to make Transformers and all of that. So General Mills, or whoever the fuck it was, it's the people who do Snap, Crackle, Pop. Is that General Mills or Kellogg's? I don't know.
There's only 3,
Kellogg.
right? Post, General Mills.
So they're trying to license their catalog of characters for movie franchises. Fruit Loops, Snap, Crackle, Pop, Tony the Tiger, all this kind of bullshit. And there's like, I'm hearing about it at meetings and stuff. It's like, they're going to be they're opening up a Kellogg's universe. It's going to be, just like the MCU, but it's with the Kellogg's guys. Because, Pop of Snap, Crackle, and Pop, I mean, he's got star potential. The other two, but Pop is I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And it's probably still in the works somewhere.
I would see it. Nostalgia. I'm such a sucker for nostalgia. I would see it.
What's the character? What does Snap, Crackle, and Pop do besides say Snap, Crackle, and Pop? They're like the Budweiser frogs.
You could write an entire. That's a trilogy right there. With Tony the Tiger is like the a pilot, and like the sidekick. Oh, who's the star though? Is it Smacks?
Yeah, the Sugar Smacks. Hey,
Yeah.
Do you know this dude? He wrote a book. He was a bass player in this band called Fuck Me. They're really good too. He's a musician from Berkeley, or from Boston, and he wrote a book called Gentlemanly Repose. And the name of the band is The Unband. So he writes this book, and you would love it, I think, because he is the opening introduction is a story, an anecdote about Dylan Thomas being hired by the Guinness Company to write them a new slogan. And so he's holed up in this hotel, and he says, "You got to bring me some Guinness." So they bring in cases and cases of Guinness, and they're waiting to get the fucking new slogan. And finally they bust in there, and he's wasted, the beer's all gone, and on the wall he's written, "Guinness gets you drunk." That's the setup for the book, and you gotta fucking read it. It's about them opening for Motorhead, but it's written in the style of like, I don't know how to describe it, except that he's a fan of like Dylan Thomas type stuff. So it's not like we partied, we played a hot show. It's all this very intellectual and weird stuff about being, not even being on the road. It's just existentialist and great. And then he wrote a sequel. Oh, and then he went on to work with Anthony Bourdain on the Going Somewhere to Do Something show, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look up his name. So you got to read that.
Are you looking at a bookshelf right now?
Yes.
Oh, nice. My books are there.
Oh, yeah. That's the other file I have down here, dude. I've kept a track of every book I've ever read in my entire life.
Are you kidding me?
From 6th grade on.
What?
You have to, because I have no memory of anything. So, like, you know, that's page 1, and they're all alphabetical and writing in the margins. How many, you know, because how are you going to remember which Stephen King you read? Well, here's Stephen King: Pet Sematary, Skeleton Crew, The Stand. Sinclair Lewis, Babbitt. Yeah, that was a good one. You know, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Chronicle of a Death Foretold, 100 Years of Solitude. I mean, you know, you got to do this. You haven't done this?
I mean, I make a lot of lists, but that is impressive.
And this is one of my favorite things. It's a certificate of completion. I was doing research for a movie, and I went to a learning annex course at this hotel in Beverly Hills called What Women Really Want in Bed with Dr. Ava Cadell. It was one of the saddest events that I'd ever been to, because she had like this, you know, sex toy vagina type thing with anatomically correct, like a doctor's thing.
Yeah.
And she would point to where you're supposed to do what and where fluids would come from. And everyone there was like, oh, wow, oh, fuck, is that? And I felt so bad. It's like, these dudes really, really needed this information. And they were all like 30-something-year-old dudes. And here I was, you know, going for a goof so I could write about it in a zine or something. And they were like taking notes and go, okay, yeah, a little man in the canoe. Got it. It was fucking crazy.
When was this?
1999.
Oh, I thought this was like a week ago.
No. So there you go.
All right. So this is perfect.
Can
I was going to ask
you to just take over from here. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Can
No,
you just
go ahead, hit
host? Can you host this from now on? I was going to ask you what your most important file is on your computer.
It's either going to be the bands or the books. I mean, those are the ones that are irreplaceable. Everything else, I don't know. They're all on the cloud. You know, the one that would be irreplaceable is the photos. That's the only thing I can think of. Everything else, I don't know. I'm triple redundantly saved. External hard drive, 2 different clouds. What's your answer to that question, sir?
Probably right now, the novel, because everything else I'm writing is already out, so I don't care.
How long has this novel been in the process?
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Animal House?
I am.
Donald Sutherland's character's been working on this novel, and he says, I've been working on it for 4 years. And then Pinto says, well, it must be very good. He says, it's a piece of shit. Everything I work on, I have a very shitty opinion of. Do you find that as well?
I feel
are you
like
hard on yourself, or are you easy on yourself? I get the feeling you're hard on yourself.
I'm not especially hard on myself. I just assume that no one cares. So I'm like, I'm gonna have fun with it. You know, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what that is?
I'm pretty confident in what I do. And I've made peace with it. It's not for everyone. So it's for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's interesting. I've been trying to figure out lately why you have creativity. You know, if you have this ability to write or sing or whatever, why do you have it? Is there one particular story you're meant to tell? Like if you look at the movies of Martin Scorsese, a lot of them have the same theme of this outsider who does outrageous things and then learns no lesson, whether it's Taxi Driver or King of Comedy or Wolf of Wall Street or whatever, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if there's something within him that's like, from whatever trauma he's got or life experience that draws him to that thing that drives him towards it. And in my position, I'm writing for hire. And so I lose track of what it is I want to write for me that's going to express something that means something to me. And having lost that, I've been talking to people, musicians and novelists and whatever, to try to figure out how to get back to that. Exactly what you're talking about, doing it for myself and not worrying about if anybody's going to see it.
Yeah.
Because I'm, a writer for hire, I've poisoned myself. You know what I'm saying? And it's very difficult to get back to, well, what am I writing? What would I write about if I was still, a security guard or a waiter?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting to hear. So when you wrote, let's say Glory Days, that's based on something. You had to get that out.
No,
right?
that was a personal one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the majority of things I write don't get made, right? Because, I've written like 46, 48 movies and got like 7 or 8 made, which is a pretty good batting average, considering, but you can't be emotionally invested in every single one. I wrote this one for the Chinese market. I was supposed to write the script in English. They were going to translate it into Mandarin and then make the movie over there for the Mandarin audience, which was a dumb idea. And it was based on a piece of IP that I knew nothing about. And I'm trying to play catch up on what this character means and whatever. And by the end of the day, there's nothing of me inside there. And I think that if I'm here to be a writer, I'm meant to take whatever's in here and express it honestly. And it's been very, very difficult to get to the point, because when you're dealing with Hollywood and rejection and all of this crap, you don't want to put yourself in there so you can get stomped on. You wind up putting it behind action and comedy and whatever, and you're very well hidden. So I'm quite interested in how you stay in touch with your muse. I believe in a muse, because I'll wake up in the morning and look back at pages I wrote yesterday and not recognize them and be reading them for the first time. And that's not because of the gin. It is a struggle to keep hold of that. And some filmmakers get lost, like Oliver Stone was amazing for 20 years. And for the last 10, 15 years, he seems to have been lost. He's not coming from the gut anymore. I don't know why. That's just my impression. Maybe he is, but it's more and more difficult to get in touch with that.
That's been said about music and comedy. Once you become so famous at either of those things, what are you exactly writing about? Who are you speaking to? If your world is, mansions and private jets, how does that relate to like me and the audience who, you spent a paycheck on a ticket? I don't have an answer. That's just a side piece, but personally, so I do a lot of like contract copywriting, and that's the day job. That's what brings in, a little bit of money. And,
right on.
And there are big chunks of where I'm so burnt out by that, where I have to really focus on coming home or putting that aside and actually writing for myself. And it's habitual. Now it's habitual, where if I don't do it, I feel off. But it's definitely, it's 20 years of training myself into, even if I'm writing for work and, fucking thinking of taglines and slogans, come home and write for myself and make the time, I guess.
So I would assume also the podcast falls into the same category, that it's like something you're doing because you want to hang out with Abby, and because it's just a passion project and you don't care if anybody listens, and it's just interesting to talk to people and find out what makes them tick. I'm assuming.
You are 100% correct. We're just also like we love learning. We're students and we love music. Like I would say music over writing is my favorite thing ever. And we're just geeks, and it's all organic. And you're right. It's all of us like taking our own time. Abby's rushing home from work to get, so the timelines add up. I'm calling her and be like, hey, Rich is doing it, or Tom Arnold's doing it, and shit like that. It's all, we're rewarded, but it definitely, it's more work.
So
like passion work.
Switching gears slightly.
Okay.
You mentioned music. What is your like go-to kind of jam?
Depends on the mood.
Are you a country and western guy? A punk rock guy?
If you're going by definition, I would always say I'm a punk rock kid, a product of 90s Warped Tour.
Yep.
Oh, what's like the first Warped Tour you remember?
The first Warped Tour I remember was Limp Bizkit was at, and it was in Sanford, Florida, in a parking lot. And
I'm trying to send you a JPEG. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Blink-182 was there. I don't know what year it was, but it had to be like, I'm gonna guess 97, 96.
You know who else was there?
Eminem.
Oh,
It was
wow.
97.
Okay.
I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about Limp Bizkit, because that was the first and only time I've ever seen them.
I saw, that's my favorite concert story, is an Eminem story. It was at his record release party. By the way, I put up a JPEG. If you double click on it, you can see the cover of that book, Gentlemanly Repose. Does it come up?
That's a fun cover.
Yeah,
cool.
I like that.
Ruffino, yeah. He's amazing. It's out of print, but I don't know. Hopefully you find it. Anyway, so I'd heard about Eminem. We go to his record release party at the House of Blues in Hollywood. It's the first album. And so on the stage, I don't know if you remember the inside artwork of the album was this mummy and syringes and pills and everything. So he has this mummy dancing on stage, doing this whole bit. And Dr. Dre's there and I forgot who all else. So at a certain point, he goes, hey, do you guys want to see who the mummy is? And we're like, we've never even thought about the fucking mummy. The mummy comes up to the front of the stage, takes his thing off, and it's Dustin Hoffman. And Dustin Hoffman goes, and he walks off the stage, and we're all just like, what? Did we have a collective fucking delusion here? Why is Dustin Hoffman being the mummy? It's the greatest concert experience I've ever had, and he did nothing. So 20 years later, I meet Dr. Dre and I ask him, what the fuck was that all about? And he's like, Dustin Hoffman's son is a big rap fan. They were backstage. Eminem saw him and was like, dude, do you want to put on the mummy outfit? And Dustin Hoffman was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll go do it. It was so cool.
Oh my God. That is another moment where like, oh, that's the podcast. Can't top it.
You don't have a Dustin Hoffman Eminem story to go along with that one? Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what do
I
you
always
guys do? Do you have any Abby, an awkward celebrity encounter or a cool celebrity encounter? And it doesn't have to be, celebrity. It could be like somebody you idolized.
Will Ferrell.
Ooh.
He came out here to ski many, many moons ago, and he had to ski over this concrete. He was trying to get back to his hotel to go over this little patch of concrete and then off this lip about yay big to get like down into their ski valet. And he was standing there and he was looking at the concrete and trying to figure out how to get over it. And I was explaining it to him, and there's like that little lip. And then he made this joke about, the big fall off this lip, blah, blah, blah. And then he went to ski off and actually ended up tripping over it and like kind of rolling down the hill. And no one was there with me. And I was like, I just watched Will Ferrell roll down a hill on skis.
You had that precious moment of physical comedy that he did just for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great.
That's
Ryan, you got one?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I have two off the top of my head. So living in New York, there was I have three, and I'll make it quick. I was at the Gap on 85th and 2nd, and I was buying like a cardigan or something, and I just happened to look up, and David Duchovny and I locked eyes, and I did one of these where I was like didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
That was awkward. I went to dinner with Steve-O from Jackass.
Nice.
He's friends with a friend of mine, and we went to dinner, and we went to a vegan place. This is after he got sober, and he took all of our menus, and he's like, "I'm gonna order." And then at the end of the he ordered a bunch of shit. At the end of the meal, he looked at the three of us. He was like, "Oh, well, I'll split it evenly, right?" And I was like, I guess. Like, I would have liked to order my own shit. And then I was at a bar. Actually, it was a restaurant, and this woman bought drinks for the restaurant, and I immediately recognized her. It was Lady Gaga, and I was talking to her boyfriend at the time, and we were shooting the shit, and she comes over, and I was like, "Thanks for the drink." And she goes, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a writer." And she goes, "Oh, me too." And in my head, I just thought, "Oh yeah, we write very different things. You write $1 million pop songs, and I write poems." And then I went to the bathroom at that, like I left them and went to the bathroom, and Barbara Walters and Joan Rivers were having dinner in the back, and I had to like squeeze by them because they're so small.
Wow.
Yeah. Not as awkward, but still fun.
That's a pretty good restaurant.
Yeah.
I have a Will Ferrell to tie in.
Oof.
Our kids apparently are near the same age and in soccer. So we go out I'm in Santa Monica, we go out to Riverside to this gigantic tournament where kids from all over Southern California come for a 3-day weekend of soccer. And so I would see him there because I guess his wife coached the team and he wanted to participate. So he was a referee. And in soccer, you have the center ref and the 2 sideline refs that have the flags. And he was one of the ARs on the side. And to watch him, who knows apparently nothing about soccer and is very, very awkward physically, run up and down with the flag and his shirt's untucked and he's flapping the thing, like he's swatting flies rather than being, the professional guy or whatever. It was really, really hilarious and awkward. I loved it. Didn't talk to him, never saw him close up, but it was, and I was hoping to get assigned because I would do the same thing. I was a ref. I was hoping to get assigned to the same game. And instead, another girl from our team got to be refs with him and didn't talk to him. So worthless.
Oh, I want a Will Ferrell story.
Yeah, I want a Barbara Walters story.
Yeah, I really wanted to just like pay for their bill or something. Looking back, I should have done it. Like this is maybe 15 years ago.
Here's a trivia question for you. Is Barbara Walters alive?
Yes.
Abby?
I don't know.
Yes, Rivers is no longer with us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I was hoping to stump you too. I really don't know. Somebody's gonna have to Google it.
I think she's alive.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Abby's on it.
Welcome to Bothering the Band.
The looking up shit on Google podcast.
We used to be a music podcast. Now we're a Barbara Walters podcast.
So what, Ryan, what's what?
She is alive.
Ooh, well, we'll take care of that. COVID will take care of that. So Ryan, what's like your favorite punk band that you saw in a tiny venue? Like I saw Black Flag in a backyard or some, obviously not that, but.
That's a really good question.
You have a podcast where you talk about music. This has never come up.
Yeah, we usually do the asking.
Dude.
I saw.
This is my way of having my own podcast. I'm just going to pester you guys with questions.
Love it.
Well, when you actually do, because you're good at this, you can have us on and we can do the whole thing. We can actually ask you our questions. So Abby and I grew up in Orlando, Florida. At the time, I hated it. Looking back, and my next novel will be about this. There was surprisingly a great punk rock ska scene growing up. We got every show. Everyone came through Orlando. That was like small to medium or big ska punk bands. And I literally saw everyone. I got to like skank with Dickie Barrett of the Bosstones on stage when I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
I actually saw the Yeah Yeah Yeahs before they blew up with that song Maps at a place called The Social. Very tiny, about as big as 2 garages put together. I'm gonna go that's all I'm gonna say because I'm curious what you guys have. But I also do you know a band called King Khan and the Shrines?
No, I'm
Great.
interested. No, it's a
Great
name.
band. Fucking fan. One of my favorites. I went to their show in New York. My buddies didn't know who they were, and I have a big. I don't mind going to shows by myself, and I ended up hanging out with the band after, and getting like having a lot of, controlled substances fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's how do you spell King Khan? Is
King,
it
like
Khan?
King, yeah, and Khan, Khan, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my iTunes just crashed. So
Great band.
Abby, do you have a story?
I would say it's also going to be Orlando related, not punk, but ska. I ended up at DIY Records, which is this tiny hole in the wall record place, one night, and Catch 22 was playing there randomly. Like they played a big show somewhere in town, but then they ended up at this little like hole in the wall record shop, and it was like the size of a bedroom where they were playing. They weren't even on a stage.
I don't know those guys.
Ooh, they're good too.
Oh, that's surprising.
That was,
yeah.
That was probably like 97 or 98.
Be honest, did you sleep with any of them?
I did not, no. I tried to again later when I saw them in college at another hole in the wall. It didn't work out then either.
I was gonna say, how old were you? Because that had to be like 9th grade, 8th grade.
It did, because it was right next to the restaurant. My parents owned a restaurant for a while when I was younger, and that's how I ended up over there.
Well, I didn't mean any kind of 8th grade, 9th grade action. Sorry.
I would have been.
Moving
But
on.
no, but then I did later again see them at a hole in the wall in college, and I tried then. It didn't work.
I used to go to what's that place next to you that's on the coast? Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to Tampa and spend some time down there, and we would go to this place called Janice Landing.
Still there. Love it so much. The last thing I saw there was Wu-Tang.
Oh, wow.
And that would have been 2000. That was a long time ago too. That was before Wyoming's, probably 2006, but Janice Landing's still there.
Okay, so here's a Florida question for you. It's the early 90s. I'm going to see the Circle Jerks at Janice Landing.
Fuck yeah.
In the middle of the show, a couple of skinhead guys get up on stage and start goose stepping and sig heiling across the stage in front of the band, which was pretty disturbing. Mm-hmm. And they were blocking. There were so many of them that you couldn't see the band anymore, but the band kept playing. I got a really bad vibe of the Florida punk rock scene because of these Nazis. And somebody in the crowd told me that this guy is notoriously blah, 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 some kind of skinhead leader dude. Is that sort of the wrong impression of Florida punk rock?
I think so. We had a great scene. But also those people over in Tampa are weird. I can't account for them.
Janice Landing is not in Tampa, right? Isn't it in the next town over?
St. Pete.
St. Pete. Yeah, there you go. St. Pete.
They're like the Twin Cities of Florida.
Yeah.
They're right on top of each other. No, I'm gonna agree. Like growing up is very all-inclusive scene. And I appreciate it much, later in life. But it definitely gave me like an identity, and looking back, it was great.
What about Gasparilla? Did you go to Gasparilla?
Once.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Yeah. I had some of the worst nights of my life in Florida. Like in one night walking wherever Gasparilla was. I don't even remember if it was the Gasparilla night, but that section of bars in St. Pete. I
Ybor
got,
City.
what's it called? Ybor.
Ybor.
Ybor City. Ybor, whatever.
But yes.
I was in Ybor City, and even though I'm tall, I don't get into fights, and I got harassed, and three different groups of people wanting to fight me because, and this is early 90s, I had long hair and an earring, and these frat boy types come up to my friend and they go, "Why don't you tell the weirdo to get the fuck out of here?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, am I the weirdo?" And they won't look at me. They're like, "Tell the weirdo to get the fuck out of here before." So I leave there and I go down, and out in front of this gay bar, this really drunk gay guy is trying to hug and kiss me. And he's like, mini me size. And so I'm like pushing him away. And then I have to push him away kind of forcefully. And that's what the people at the bar see, me pushing the little guy away from me. And now the whole crowd from the bar wants to fisticuffs with me. So I had to bail from there down to a gas station to get a taxi or whatever the fuck we were doing. Got into another encounter down there with guys drinking 40s in the parking lot. And I was like, I think I'm over Florida. Again, this is the wrong impression. Is this the early 90s?
No, Ybor's still like that. It's kind of trashy. I feel bad saying that. But it's
Florida's diverse, but it is split like down the middle of like broy, douchey, and then old people, and then also like families who have moved from other places, and those kids, we're a project of those kids, like those families. Who moved from New York and Colorado, all of California, all that shit. I remember growing up though, that's why I didn't like it, because I was, long hair, earrings, and I was an odd person out. And that's why I didn't like it. I couldn't wait to leave Florida. I don't know. Tampa is a different world.
On the other coast, my both sets of grandparents moved to Daytona Beach. So I spent many, vacations down in Daytona and had a, great time, and they have cheap food and all of that. And the last time I went back there was for spring break. I want to say 89, when the Chili Peppers were just first appearing on MTV. It was when Higher Ground came out, the cover of the Stevie Wonder song. That was like their big hit before Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out. And it was a show where Flea got arrested for jumping into the crowd and assaulting a woman. If you look it up, there's nice pictures of Flea being arrested. So yes, I've had wonderful times in Florida as well.
My sister, I don't know what year it is, I'll have to ask her. My sister won a hula hoop contest on MTV Spring Break. I'm gonna guess either it's 89, 90, or 91.
Wow, that's weird, because my best friend who I was with hooked up with the hula hoop champion girl. Is her name, don't tell me. Hold on, it's with an R. It's on the tip of my tongue. It is Audra. Is that it? Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
and
such the hula hoopster.
I guarantee she is actually, not hyperbole, a big listener. She will listen to this. So shout out to my sister Audra.
For God's sakes. Well, shout out to Audra from my friend. His name is Fat Steve. She'll remember because he lost one of his ears in an accident. And that's what she liked about him. He was different.
Oh man. Once again, how much time do you have?
This is it. I mean, what do I got? What do I have to do?
Okay.
They're editing. Editing's a thing. Dude.
Yeah. We do very little editing.
Yeah, I figured. I've seen some of your podcasts. They're like an hour and 20 minutes.
An hour, 20 minutes is what? Long, right?
Yeah. I've been on some that are like.
Let's do a Joe Rogan, like 3-hour one here.
I've done a couple that are like 15, 20 minutes, and they go by so fast. You're like, I'm just, getting to know somebody, and then they cut it off. It seems like an hour and 10 is like the the sweet spot. I don't know. I've done like, I just started doing these last year, and I did like a dozen because I'm such a hot commodity with podcasts that nobody listens to. So I've been on a dozen, and it's the thing we were talking about earlier about getting back in touch with whatever it is you do by talking about being creative, music, comedy, whatever. It brings that back. It's like an educational experience for me to rediscover stuff. So I used to play drums before I became lead singer in this punk band. So I went on a drumming podcast with the guy who's the drummer for Jason Aldean's band, which is a big country artist. Yeah. And Jason Aldean was the artist who was on stage in Vegas when that maniac shot everybody from the hotel. Yeah. So this guy was the drummer on the stage at the time. And he's this motivational speaker. He's this amazing guy. So I did a drumming one, a touring one, a stand-up comedy one, writing one, screenwriting one, motivational speaker one. I really, really enjoy talking about all these different topics because it gets you, I'm making it up as I go along. So whatever I'm saying must be from the heart or sincere or sincerely stupid, whatever it is. I find it really, really, really nice to sort of have it unfiltered and just spilling out whatever it is. It gets me back in touch with that, whatever I was complaining about a minute ago.
I love it. Gets the juices flowing. So I was going to ask, do you have anything
questions on this podcast?
A little bit. We have some real dumb ones. Do you have anything in your brain, like personal, that you want to work on, whether it's literature or film?
I have a movie I've been wanting to write since 1990, and I'm going to finally tackle it this year. I'm not going to jinx it by talking about it, but like certain times you'll write something, and then like I wrote a spec script, which is, I wrote it by myself and then tried to sell it. And it was about a kid who comes to LA to be a rock and roll star. He fails at that, but he has a big dick and he becomes a porn star, but he's unhappy about it. So I sent it to my agent and he's like, I don't know what to do with this. This is fucking crazy. The very next week, Burt Reynolds signs on to do Boogie Nights, which is about a musician who wants to make it in rock and roll and winds up being it's the exact same fucking story. And there's scenes, because that's the story, there's mandatory scenes that are common to both, just because it's I don't know, do you ever watch Repo Man? Do you know the movie film? Repo Man?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so Tracy Walter gives that speech about the cosmic unconsciousness, where I can be thinking about a plate of shrimp, and then somebody will say shrimp or plate of shrimp, and what does that mean? Nothing. It's just the cosmic unconsciousness. So that's what it is. There was scenes that were fucking identical, not the dialogue, not the dynamics, but like scene at the drug dealer's house where shit goes crazy, scene at the, whatever, in the studio trying to record shit. And it blew my mind that it was possible to be that close to what somebody else had done, and obviously did it fantastically. So I'm protective of whatever this is. A long way to, it's a stupid idea that nobody's going to rip off anyway, but I don't want to put it into the cosmic unconsciousness, because it's weird when that happens. You'll see 2 movies about the runner Prefontaine in one year, 2 movies about an asteroid or a volcano or wherever the fuck it is destroying LA. And it's a bizarre coincidence. You get screwed that way sometimes.
It happens here, hence Nightmare Alley. We literally talked about it yesterday. I asked her this morning, did you end up watching it? She's like, no, I didn't. And then you bring it up unknowingly. It happens. I believe it. French Stewart.
I haven't seen him in 20 some years. The last time I bumped into him was on the street. I saw him walking down the street. I said out the car window, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, this is where my pot dealer lives. Because how his eyes are slits. Yeah.
He was just in something. Mom. He was in Mom. He has a role in the show Mom.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's with Anna Faris and the tall lady from West Wing. What the fuck is her name? Oh, devils. Anyways,
Sigourney Weaver.
no.
Just go with Sigourney Weaver. Nobody
Sure,
cares.
it's he plays a restaurant manager.
It's
or
Allison
some
Janney.
shit. Yeah, there you go. Good pool. Have you watched the new season of Always Sunny?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah. I wish they had gone beyond Ireland. I thought some of the episodes were amazing. Other of them were so-so. I didn't like the haunted house, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I did like, Colm Meaney as the dad figure.
Yeah.
There was some genius stuff in there.
They always have some good stuff.
God, I can't believe it. They've been on like for 20 some years.
Yeah, they just signed before the season. They signed to go to like 21 or 22.
Yeah, 4 more years. Yeah. But if you watch the pilot apparently they just shot by themselves with a camcorder.
Yeah. Yep.
Fucking amazing.
And it's so good. The pilot's the one where Charlie gets cancer, right? And
I don't remember.
I think it's Charlie gets cancer, and I love that line where they're like, "Hey, can we borrow your basketball?" And he's like, "I have cancer." Like, but can we get that basketball?
Isn't that an amazing level of success that it's going to go on for 20 seasons, but you could still walk down the street and be Mac? Well, Mac is a little more famous now because he's got that HBO or the Apple show, which is great. But, it's not like they're on Roseanne, or I can't think of a dumb sitcom because I don't watch them. The Big Bang's Theory.
Yeah.
Not like they're like those guys, but they have enough success they can do this passion project for 20 years.
Yeah, and still pick up movie roles here and there.
Yeah, why not?
Charlie's in a couple flicks. All right, next question. Bar soap or body wash?
Body wash.
Okay. Do you pee in the shower?
Never.
Disgusting.
No.
For real?
Yeah. Oh, come on. How dare you?
Man.
You're Abby, where do you stand on this?
I mean, I don't do it all the time, but it's happened.
Every time.
Why not?
Ryan, are you a bathtub guy?
I mean, I haven't taken a bath since 1996, I feel like.
Did you pee in it?
I don't think I would pee in a bath, but shower every single time. I hold it until I get in there.
Oh God, that's so wrong, dude. You're gonna get like a club foot or something. Legionnaire's disease.
Club foot. Oh man.
How'd you get sick? I peed in the shower.
I peed on my feet. I peed on my own feet. Have you ever owned a pool table or a jacuzzi?
Yes. Jacuzzi, pool table, not mine, but parents. Yes.
Was the jacuzzi inside?
No, it was outdoor standalone.
Did you pee in it?
Did you pee?
No.
Everyone else did.
How dare you ask these questions? So disgusting. The thing that from, I don't know if you remember this magazine, National Lampoon, from 70s and 80s. So we were addicted to that. And one of the funny gags was about getting into the jacuzzi and with your guy friends and putting your dorks in the water jets. So like you're getting blown by the water jets, which was always a hilarious notion, which we never did, but it's funnier than being in the pool.
Did you see the documentary or the
both? Yeah.
The film?
Yeah.
So good. Both very good.
And then PG O'Rourke just died today. PG O'Rourke from the National Lampoon. Yeah.
Wow.
Funny guy.
Oh, man. After Reitman, man.
Yeah. Right?
Tied to National Lampoon in a way.
Damn. Yeah, that is a bummer.
That is a big bummer. We did a post a while ago because someone sent us a photo of our stickers with their cat. And I said, like, listen to Bothering the Band or this cat dies. And no one got it. No one got the reference.
That's a classic. This is deep cut.
Indeed. Do you wear turtlenecks?
No, I don't have much occasion in Southern California. I'm not opposed to them.
Do you wear cologne?
When I'm going out, yes.
What kind?
It's a blue bottle and its name is something sexy, like
is that something
sexy
Manus
or something? I don't know. It's like a Gucci crotch whiffo or something. I don't know, but it's Gucci very, very macho.
Great question. What is something you've done that you would talk someone else out of doing?
Ooh, mooning a funeral. That would be the top of the list.
Well, I'm going to put my pen down and you got to explain.
Well, it was another story from National Lampoon about mooning a funeral. And so we decided to do it. And it was a nighttime funeral. And there was these kids out in front of the chapel or whatever, that didn't want to be inside with the organ music. And we pulled through the roundabout and mooned them from about 10 feet away. And the logic was, we are going to cheer them up by showing them the absurdity of life and that things go on and that death is meaningless. And it didn't turn out to feel that way after I'd done it. And I still sort of think about it. It's like, this guy's at his grandpa's funeral or whatever it is, and some asshole comes by in a VW Bug hanging moon out the window. So yes, I wouldn't advise.
Oh no, that's good advice. Have you ever taken an Amtrak?
Yeah, love them.
Love them.
I took a Greyhound bus from San Diego to Arkansas once.
Wow, that's tough sledding.
Yeah, my dad didn't want to spring for an airplane ticket, so he put us on the Greyhound.
I traveled the country for 2 months on an Amtrak train. When I finished college, I made a big loop around the country. And it was only $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
I once mailed myself in an envelope to Alaska, and the rest of the envelope was filled with dog shit. So my story's better.
Yes, it is.
Wait,
it's hard. It's a very hard trip.
Explain this.
Nothing. I don't know.
Are you making this up? That could have been real. That's your next documentary, is mailing yourself, right?
Sure.
Yeah, go
ahead.
No. When's the last time you looked at an actual Playboy magazine?
I probably at a garage sale or something. I can't even think.
You brought it. You brought it to the garage sale. Like, check this out.
I do remember going by a magazine stands aren't around anymore much, but we just went by one in LA, and my son remarked that this is the first time he'd seen Playboy magazine on a rack, because they were selling like old ones from the 90s or whatever, wrapped in shrink wrap or whatever, but they were right above like the Nintendo magazines and guitar magazines and whatever. It was not segregated properly. So that would have been the last time, though I didn't look inside.
It's vintage art now. That's what it is.
It's
kitschy. Like vintage media. It's almost like a beeper.
It's so innocent. Innocent times.
Innocent. What song did you sing at your wedding?
How did you know I sang a song?
It's in Punk Like Me.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right. The Vandals.
I was there.
The Vandals have a song that they do. It's a cover song called "I Have a Date," and I changed the lyrics to "I Have a Wife."
Very cool.
It's a really great song. If you know the Vandals, the guitar player Warren gets to sing one song per album, and he does one song live. He does like "Summer Lovin'," or he does "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen. And for a while, his was "I Have a Date," one of the greatest songs ever.
We actually emailed their manager or publicist when we first started. We're gonna have to revisit having the Vandals on.
Yeah, they're very exclusive. You won't get them.
No, I'm bummed. I had this awesome, the Vandals with the V and the machine gun. I had that shirt forever, and I definitely left it at a college girlfriend's house and never saw it again. I gotta buy that shirt again.
I just bought one at Pandemic. They put out, if you follow them on Twitter or whatever, they'll have a random release of that logo, some random color like mango or lime, just some random fucking thing that they'll have 20 versions of. So I got one that's sort of like this pale green. That's just amazing. I love it. But I've known those guys for like 25 years and they've been the best to me. They got me on the Warped Tour. They did the score for Glory Days.
Yeah.
I've seen them probably more than anybody else. They're just the nicest guys. And now Joe, who's the bass player, who's the only founding member still in the band, he directs a show called Myths and Monsters of America on like the Fox Discovery or something. It's where they go investigate Bigfoot and Mothman and whatever. And he writes and directs and edits them. And it's him and the host and a crew that go around and, you know, the Jersey Devil and the Blair Witch and whatever. So he's diversifying into into TV directing.
I have a funny story. So when I saw Glory Days when I was, I'm gonna guess 9th grade.
Nice.
And I bought it like just book by its cover at Best Buy, VHS.
Wow.
And I loved it. It was perfect for me at the time. I love the soundtrack. And I was like, this is maybe at the very beginning of the internet. And I couldn't find out what the fucking song was. And I remember I made it a mission. And once Napster started coming around, I started like searching for, and then I found out it was the Vandal. And then I started searching Glory Days theme Vandals. And it took me forever to find that one song. It's just instrumental, right?
Yeah. That was one they did. Yeah, specifically for the movie. But here, I'm going to show you this thing real quick. They just put out a double vinyl of the Glory Days soundtrack. Some company called Garageland, who does punk rock t-shirts and vinyls and stuff. Even the Vandals didn't know this had happened. They have all the original artwork and everything on pink vinyl. They only made 30 copies. It's awesome. I love Garageland. I got a Joey Ramone, 25th anniversary of his death poster. That's really, really awesome on my wall. It's not him dead. It's a nice picture.
It's just oh man. All right. When's your birthday?
What? I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay.
A lot of stalkers and creeps listen to this podcast.
Lots of stalkers. That's our whole audience is stalkers and creeps.
You can tell by the Van Damme picture on your wall. Yeah.
It's signed.
Oh, so cool.
That's a funny story. I worked for an ad agency and we did this event for a Belgian brewery. And I pitched an idea. He's the Muscles from Brussels. Let's theme it Van Damme. We called it Van Damme Day. I found his fan mail address, sent him a flyer and a note, just on a whim. About 4 years later, I don't work at that agency anymore. The owner, the CEO called me, or he didn't even call me. He called me and goes, "What's your address?" And I told him and then moved on. And about 2 weeks later, this just showed up and he goes, "It just showed up in the office. I don't know."
From the fan club.
I don't know. And it has my name. It's To Ryan Van Damme. Unbelievable. Okay. What size shirt do you wear?
XL, unless it's from Europe, then it's double XL. I have time for one more. I'm late for going to meet my wife and people are bored hearing me talk.
No, well, we don't have any more questions. Tell us what's next for Rich Wilkes.
I can't, because everything's a jinx. So many projects blow up. I just turned in a script on Friday that I love. It's my favorite thing ever. And what is 45 divided by 7? One out of 8 projects, or 7 out of 8 projects go in the toilet. So I don't want to jinx it, but it's going to be great. It's the best movie you'll ever see in 2025.
Can we make an Operation Ivy biopic?
Did you see they just had a reunion?
I did. We passed it around to a bunch of our friends. We're like, look at this.
I got to speak. I met Lint a couple of times, Tim Armstrong, and I spoke to Jesse on the phone. He was living in Florida at the time because I was desperately trying to get their song for Glory Days. I had cut it into the movie and I needed permission from Tim Armstrong and from Jesse. And I don't think it made it into the movie. No, it didn't. It was Knowledge, the first song on their album, because it's about, knowledge. And I listened to that album on cassette every day for at least a year, on the way to work and back. And I had the opportunity to go to their final show at the Berkeley, at Gilman Street.
Yeah.
It was before their album came out, so I'd never heard them. And I was in a band with Jesse's older brother. There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm in a band with Jesse's older brother, Ethan. And he's like, hey, my little brother has a band. He's in high school. You want to go see him? And I'm like, no, your little brother's high school band? And he's like, yeah, they're really good. They're playing their last show at Gilman Street. And I'm like, that's okay. No. And then a month later, the album comes out and I'm like, holy shit. I had the chance to see them. It haunts me to this day.
Well, on that note, we cue the music. Rich, I on behalf of both of us, I can't thank you enough. Personally, thank you. You're always so nice and gracious, letting me bother you and send you weird shit.
I love it.
So thank you for doing this. We'll remind you agreed to do our live show, LA, May 21st.
Sure.
If you can still do it, great. I'm saying it also now to promote it for the listeners. Yes, May 21st, absolutely. Hotel Cafe, Los Angeles. We have an amazing lineup. We've actually now have too many people. So it's going to be a blast.
Is it a spoiler if I mention that Dustin Hoffman's going to be there?
No. I mean, it's bound to get out somehow. So.
Yeah, okay, good.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
No, thank you guys. Abby, thank you so much. You guys have been very, very nice to me and I appreciate it.
This is a blast. And thanks. And we'll talk soon, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
You too.
Yeah. Come on. We're not a real band. We'll maybe never be. Fuck that. But one thing's for sure, we won't waste this opportunity. We're gonna play hard. We'll jump up our codes. And if we do it right, you won't go running for the doors. First we rock it, then we kick it, then we play it real fast till our pencil down our ass. Then we roll it, we control it, and you'll never suspect we're all college graduates. Cause wouldn't it make you sick to understand we're not a real band? We drink a lot, but we ain't drunks. We might break some shit, but we hardly qualify as punks. Ain't got tattoos, never be rock gods, but we do the in and out and we got bitches hanging from our rods. First we rock it, then we kick it, then we play it real fast till our pants went down our ass. Then we roll it, we control it, and you'll never suspect we're all college graduates. Cause wouldn't it make you sick to understand we're not a real band? We're not a real band. I don't know what to say, so I'll say it anyway. It's the truth, but the truth is you can't handle the truth. No, we're not a real band. Taco time. First we rock it, then we kick it, then we play it real fast till our pants are down our ass. Then we roll it, we control it, and you'll never suspect we're all college graduates. Cause